blocking my solo. Okay. I'm very camera sensitive. He was running on a slate with a group of people who maybe were not really as prepared as another slate that was running. That group lost. The group that Saint was a part of, but Saint was so made such a deep impression on the people that he was running against that they had a space open when they took over, and they immediately invited him to be part of their group. That's part of his story, and he was willing to do that. He understood that, you know, whatever you feel is allegiance, right, at one point might actually be opportunity at the next one. And understanding when opportunity presents itself is what Saint's really good about. So the second story is the best story of all, right? And I'm going to mess it up, and I'm going to make it sound like it's magical. So Saint decided, right, he was like, oh, you graduating Hostos, okay, where are you going? City College? Cool. We'll see you there. And Saint was like, nah, I don't think. So he wandered off. He says he gave Raquel credit, so I don't have that part of the story just yet. But he wandered off, and he went to Boston, and he went into the dean's office at the school. And the secretary looked at him and said, yeah, the dean's schedule is pretty busy today. He's really not having any unannounced visitors. And he said, well, you know what, maybe can I just sit around and, you know, just wait and see, and if he has a moment, maybe I can have a conversation with him. And the lady was nice enough. She said, oh, yeah, okay, sit there. So he sat there, and he sat there, and he sat there, and sat there. It's like hours later, and the lady eventually had to say to herself, well, let me call this guy and say, you know, there's a guy sitting out here, and I don't think he's going to leave. So she called inside. This guy is sitting out here. I don't think he's going to leave. He just said he wanted to say hi to you, or maybe talk to you for a couple minutes. And I guess he went in there, and it was like, you know, 3-hour conversation, and he convinced the dean that he was this valuable asset that Harvard would benefit from. And that's how he landed up at Harvard. Now, that's the magical part of the story. But that's not even enough, because when he got there and he started to establish his roots, then all of a sudden he reached back over to one of his classmates that was here and was in the student government with him, who had a completely different major, a completely different perspective on the universe. He's crazy. I mean, he's completely like, he's out there, he's in left field. And he said, I bet you can come over here and do the same exact thing that I can. And he did that, and now Carlos is also at Harvard. And that's when, right, we talked, some of you were here yesterday when we talked about the story with Michael in terms of connecting him with Samantha, you know, and having that. And you know, it's much better when I don't have to take a part in it, and when you guys can just do it on your own. And say, you know, I'm going to grab this person and say, come here. The other part that he mentioned early on that you might have missed over is that there's a bunch of people in the room who are his buddies and friends, and his emergency contacts, right? Who you know, brought him bags of bread when he was starving, you know, or came all the way up from Long Island, you know, all the way out in Stony Brook just to see this presentation. Those are valuable assets to have as part of our little organization. But his story is really wonderful and magical, and definitely, I cut him off, so you definitely should connect with him, get his information. He brought me a couple of books the last time he was here. I'm going to continue to promote him and do my job for him, because like I said yesterday, my members are my responsibility for life. Until I stop breathing or they stop breathing, hopefully I stop breathing first. That's really how I feel. So the 11 years have proven it. You know, still watching people grow and blossom, and if it takes them, you know, 11 years to get to the place they need to go, then it takes them 11 years. The magical thing that's happened, like on the sidebar, right? This is not the same thing because he got married and he didn't tell me. Is that we've had people get married in the group and have kids with each other. I got another couple that's getting married. We're going to the celebration next week. It's always nice to see that as well, because what you see is, it's not about, I'm not talking about the romance part, it's about you find people who are really valuable to you and can really make a positive impression in your life and really make you understand who you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be going, and the steps you can take to get there. And all, you know, to see Saint and Zachary and now the Saint here, and Raquel obviously, and that group who were so friendly and so part of each other, and Rokia, and know that they're still connected and that bond is still there. It's just a reflection of all that. It's nice to know that, you know, Andre and Natalie actually are not from the same time period, are getting married. It's just a nice thing to know that you guys stay together and you're connected. This is part of where you started. I'm not saying it's everything, but it's a good place to start. So I want to thank Stan. Let's give him a nice round of applause.